Now the old gate here is stuck for years, and I always thought it was the hinge here that's just slowly losing it and then just pushing everything over. And it sticks like, oh, get out, come on. And now, what's happening? That it's just pulling off the wall there. Looks like they had an anchor bolt in there, and then they just try to put in some this liquid nails or something. Anyways, come on. And as you can see, I've even trimmed this a little bit, not so it just gets jammed up here all the time, and you can see that rubbing out. So what I'm going to try to do is clean this stuff up, put in a new, I don't know, yeah, this is getting pretty rotted in there. So today I'm going to rebuild this gate, do it right, make it look nice. Okay, I see this a lot. So the common mistake is to rest whatever piece of wood right on the ground, and when you do that, you got the end grain that's just going to act like a candle wick, and it's going to soak up every single bit of moisture right up there. Now this particular one was resting right on the ground, and as you can tell, the bottom is all chewed up. The way to do it is either to dig it out and fill it full of rock and allow it for easy drainage, or don't put it on the ground at all. All right, so I'm about to put in my 4x4 here, and I'm going to mount it to the 2x4. These are wall anchored at 3 different locations. It also has some liquid nails, really keeping this thing secure. And I was going to backfill all of this with some pebbles rather than put it below grade in dirt. And in thinking about it, why do I have it below grade at all? This thing is secure as all get out. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to level it off where I need to. I'm going to mark a line. Take a Sawzall to it, and I'm going to do the same thing to this as well, my 4x4 post. And I'm going to just keep this above grade. And that's going to solve any problems with water wicking up on that end grain for your boards. So as you go along in your projects, think about what you're doing and see if that's the proper thing to do. You can change your design, but once you have it all installed, much more difficult to change things after the fact. And then just chisel it up. Back and forth, back and forth. Chisel, chisel, chisel. There you go. And this is called a lap joint. All right, so framing it up here, I've got lap joints at each one of these connections here, and I did put a cross beam just because this span here to there is just too long. So I'll just get another cross beam in there for extra strength. Then I'll put some cross beams here for some structural integrity. So here's a closer look at my lap joint. All right, just about to put together my second cross beam here. And the question is does it matter this way or this way? Now what you want to look for is, well, focus. What you want is whatever opposite side your hinges are going to be on. My hinges are going to be on that side. Focus on my project, not my hand. Okay, my hinges are going to be over here. You want the top piece of that crossbar to be away from your hinges. That way when the load comes down on this side, it provides structural integrity to your fence. Now these cross beams are going to give it mechanical strength. Just by sheer being put together tight, it's going to give it some strength. But once you put up a lot of wood on it, it's going to bear down on this side, and you want as much structural integrity as you can. Now I'm just staring and comparing my old with my new. The old ones, the 2x4s were on its side. There was a lot of space between the frame here and the top of the gate. And you know, it's an all right gate. It lasted for many, many years, even though I did have to add in another brace here over the years and do normal kind of maintenance. It lasted 12 years for what it was. It was an okay gate. The new one, I think it's just a better design. I laid the 2x4s on its side. I have 3 cross braces. It's a little bit longer spread, as well as the cross bracing that I have some framing sheet metal to kind of hold it in place until I get the wood planks in place. Once I get everything screwed in, that's not going anywhere. And this whole spread here is 8-foot board. What I plan on doing is starting at 6, doing a nice curve arch up at the top, just for some visual appeal and give me a little bit more space and make it look better, you know? I got everything framed up, and I did trim each side of this just a little bit to make that edge a little bit more square. But you don't want these things button up. I have a spacer in there so you can, just keep a little bit of space so water can get out of there. Everything is screwed down and all my planks are in place. It's nice and tight. Now I want to put just a little bit of an arch at the top, just as a nice little design element. Now I went out, measured, of course, figured out how high I want it, and I want it no more than 80. And as you see, I put in a little wiggle room, a nail there, and I got a piece of flexi backboard basically. And to get a nice arch that's even, I nailed it into one spot.
Dad.
Hold on, buddy.
Dad.
And then you just take it and you bend it over, and you just, as long as you have something flexible enough, you'll get a nice even arch. Pretty slick, eh? Just made my first cut, and of course I'm going to have to clean this up a little bit, but I was thinking that if you are still a little bit skeptical on your angles, make sure that that's a perfect, however you want it. You could take this first cut and just flip it over and lay it there and make sure that you get the same type of cut. Sand and paint make me the carpenter I ain't. Just getting into hanging this 4x4, and the critical step is you want to make sure that this is plumb. If it's not plumb, your gate will not swing properly. Okay, so I originally dry fitted this, and I found myself in a unique opportunity. Right now, that post, the 4x4 that I had in, wasn't working, and I was essentially off by about 1/4. So I measured the gate, and it's exactly the same width as the old gate. However, the post is different, and I didn't compensate for that like a dumbass. But now, instead of using the shims and whatnot to make this all correct, can I cut that 4x4 post to compensate for that difference of width here versus width there? I'm going to give it a go. So here's the back side, and I've shimmed everything, kind of got everything dry fitted. I still need to check my level, but what I've done is I've jammed in the post right there, and I'm just going to simply draw my line once I make sure that this fence is level. All right, so I want to put in a straight edge along my 4x4. The biggest piece is over here. I do not have a taper jig. I do have a little video about how to do taper cuts without a jig, but I have 2 problems in this cut. One is the distance, and the second is the width. So check out that little short if you have a smaller piece, but here's my plan is I plan on lining it up with this and eyeballing it, and wish me luck. I don't know if I can keep it as straight as I possibly can. To start, what you want is you want the thickest piece here, and as it goes down, it's going to get thinner and thinner and thinner and thinner. And as long as you keep this edge lined up with the blade by eyeball, the hope is it'll be okay. Then I have to flip the thing around and do it all over again. Now that didn't work worth a damn, but generally speaking, it's okay. It will work. I'll just get the little sander to it and try to even this out a little bit. I'm a little proud on this knot over here. The rest of it is not level. Alright, time to hang the hinges. And as you can see, I've experimented a little bit. I wish I had a little bit more meat over here. But when I line things up, see how that, it's a little proud on that side. But other than that, and a little proud right here, but it will work. It will grab on for sure. Thing about hanging the hinges, you just want to make sure that you're not cattywampus on this, right? You want to be as straight and flat as possible. All right, there's the end result. Just added in some hardware and voila, I have a new gate. All right, not too shabby for my first full-on gate redo. Of course, I would do it a little bit differently if I had the second chance, but that's it for today. Till next time, stay relaxed, keep on living. Bend. So, let me pull this out. Of course. Oh no! It snapped. Try again. I'll cut another piece.